All right, everybody. So, you know that we raise labs. We've had a couple of litters, got them under our belt. And looks like it's gonna be a late night for Branchville Bluff Labs. Miss Molly over here, who had a very clean kennel, I don't know, roughly 2 hours ago. We put fresh cedar chips in there. We got the heating pad hooked up right here. So the bottom of the whelping box is heated. We got the heat lamp on top. And then also, as of 2 days ago, the weather turned off really cold here in Indiana. We're having anywhere between 20 to 30 degree days and below 20 degree nights. And our heater quit working in the kennel. So yesterday I went and bought a new kennel, and I bought a new heater, which you can see here in the corner. It's electric heater, runs off a 10-2 wire. I didn't have a whole lot of time to plumb up all the other stuff because Molly's due tomorrow, but Molly is literally throwing cedar chips everywhere. And I kind of want to walk you guys through this process. I'm going to time lapse as much of the birthing process as I can for people who might not raise labs like we do here and might not understand the key things to look for, but I try to explain the things that I look for. I try to explain the things that I notice. If you watch any of my other videos, you know that I try to explain as much as I can, try to help everybody as much as I can. But you can see Molly's water bowl back there. It's normally not full of cedar chips. It's fresh water every other day in that great big bucket. And this is Molly's food bowl here. And as you can see, Molly is kind of frantically going around. You can also see where that carpet is brand new carpet. You can see that brand new carpet right up here. You can see where I cut it off the roll. Well, Molly, she's getting close. So all these cedar chips, all this, there's still a little bit of wetness over here. She's spilt stuff and knocked stuff around, and you know, she's going into labor. So I understand it. I'm not upset with her. Molly is trying to rip the 2x4 off the wall. So we're going to hang out. Excuse me. We're going to, Molly, we're going to comfort her, and we're going to keep her from literally demolishing the kennel here. But you can see the big wood chunks in there as well. Okay, so these are the right before birth key things to look for. I mean, she's literally, you can see where she's chewed on the whelping box over there. And I would get in there and explain this to you guys, so you kind of have to work with me through the wire here, but I don't want to interrupt Molly's process. Molly's a really good mom, but Molly is known to have her puppies on the concrete. When it's 20 degrees outside, if a puppy is on that concrete for very long, we lose that puppy. So again, the whelping box has a heating pad underneath of it, a heat lamp on top of it, and then the entire kennel is heated. And it is a lovely, lovely 72 degrees in here. So no complaints with the overall temperature. Since it's cold outside, the concrete is going to leach cold air. If I was to put that thermometer on the actual concrete, I bet you it would drop down to probably the 50s if I was to guess. So we want to be here so that if a pup ends up on the concrete, we can pick the pup up and we can put it in the whelping box. But first, I've got to clean that whelping box out because I don't want the pups rolling around in shards of wood. However, one of the things that I wanted to explain, I mentioned the food bowl, okay? This morning, I feed the dogs twice a day. I feed them before I go to work and of an evening right before dark, typically. This morning, Molly ate that food bowl, okay? It's 2.5 cups twice a day is what I feed my dogs of the, I know that's upside down, but black gold. And then we feed some other dogs the black gold super performance. So with that being said, Molly ate her 2.5 cups, lickety split, like she normally does, didn't have any issues, went great. Today, while I went to the vet and picked up 2 Oxytocin shots, I'll explain those here in a minute, my kids called me and said, hey, Molly's shaking, she's panting, she's just acting different, Dad. Okay, great, I understand. Let's run a trial, kids. Go get her a little bit of food in her food bowl. When I say a little bit, I told him a handful of kibbles, okay? A handful of kibbles isn't a whole lot of food, but you see what Molly did with it, right? She covered it up with cedar chips. So Molly said, I don't want to eat right now. That typically is my first sign that I go off of without checking dogs' temperature, seeing if they dropped a degree in temperature or two, or raised, whichever it may be. That's my first signifier that says, okay, we're within 24 hours is typically what I state. And with the other breeders that I'm networking with, they state the same thing, 24 hours. Once they stop eating, you're within 24 hours and you should monitor her closely. So what we've done, Molly, you can see Molly is not liking the Molly, it's okay, baby. So again, Molly's in the birthing process, so she's concerned about Rosie over here, another female, and Chester, the actual stud dog that bred Molly. Molly, it's okay. She's concerned that Rosie is close to her kennel and messing with the corner that she dug out. That's okay. She's not an aggressive dog, never has been an aggressive dog, but she's in the birthing process now. So her attitude and her demeanor is going to change a little bit. Molly typically doesn't like to stick her nose in the corner. If I get in that kennel with her, she will be perfectly fine. She will not be upset with me. She will understand that I'm trying to comfort her, but I do want her to have her own space. See how she's snarling? Rosie, let Molly have her time. Let's give Molly a little bit more comfort. Not just to prove to you guys, hi mama. Say, it's okay, baby. It's okay. See, she's not aggressive with me at all. You can see her ears are down. They're not pinned back. Her hair's not standing up. She just doesn't like Rosie in her space. Molly, it's okay, baby. We're here with you, okay? You want me to get your water bucket out of there? I'd just like you to have water in case you need a drink. So back to the explanation. Rosie, get your foot out of there. Get your foot out of there. So what I do is put this board up when I have a female getting ready to have pups so that they have their own privacy. They don't have to worry necessarily about the other dogs getting in their space. And even though Rosie's sticking her paw through there, it's probably because she smells Molly's food that she buried underneath of the cedar chips. So back to the food. That's my first signifier. We then started monitoring Molly every hour. Molly's breathing stayed the same. She's panting. She's been panting all day. However, back to the chewed up whelping box and the splinters. She was not acting like that earlier today. She was not acting like this with Rosie earlier today. So Molly is very, very close to having the first pup for sure. Whether we're here until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning or if we're here until midnight, I don't know. Molly, it's okay, sweetie. It's okay. So we just want to be here to comfort her. We try to be with all of our dogs and comfort them during their birthing process. But I'm going to time lapse this so that you guys can kind of see how Molly responds differently as her body is doing different things. Some people might find this video not likable, and that's okay. I'm trying to give everyone as much information as I can for the things that I do to provide for my family and produce what I would call a living, which is a diversified living. Obviously, you guys see that I quote jobs for Dirt Perfect, and you see on Dirt Perfect's channel that I work for him as a laborer, and then I raise labs as well. So we'll see how this goes. During the time lapse, I'll give you guys some explanations of the different things I'm seeing, assuming she truly is in labor and this thing doesn't take until 4 o'clock in the morning. However, if it does, I'll be here. Not sure if the time lapse will be here. So that's the explanation for now, all the key signifiers that I see. Oh, one more thing. I mentioned I went today to pick up Oxytocin shots. I like to give my females an Oxytocin shot after the first pup and after what I believe is the last pup. And there is nothing that tells me it's the last pup other than Molly. If she's unsettled, still moving around, can't get comfortable, usually that's a pretty good signifier that she is still going to have another puppy. Whereas if she lays down, lets all those little ones suckle on her, and she's comfortable and she's not moving around a whole lot, we're pretty confident that she has the last one. What that does is it helps ensure that Molly produces milk quick enough. Now, some people check the teats on the female and they'll just squeeze it a little bit and see that little bit of milk on those teats. I don't like to do that because that first milk, as most people call it, has a lot of the really good stuff that puppies need. So if you want to do that for your own comfort level, I understand, but it's not a requirement. You can tell that Molly has milk in her teats, and now it's just a matter of ensuring Molly's comfort through this labor. So we're going to switch this over to time lapse, and I may start it and stop it every once in a while throughout it, but we'll see how this goes. So you guys saw my wife come into the kennel there, giving Molly some love and some comfort before she went to bed. One of the things that she mentioned while she was there was the reason why Molly wants to be on the concrete is because it's too hot. You need to move that heating lamp or shut it off. So there you go. You saw me move it. Molly lays down, gets comfortable, and let's see how this goes. So you guys are going to see Molly get uncomfortable here. She's going to spin a circle. I'll try to key in on it and make you aware of when the first pup comes out. Here in just a second, she kind of gets up. You can see her getting a little uncomfortable there. She gets up, she spins a circle, and right now that first pup is coming out. You see it there, that shiny object. There's the first pup. Here momentarily, you're going to see me move the heat lamp over to make sure the puppy stays warm, and then I will also get in there quickly and give her our first oxytocin shot. You see that right there. So now Molly's going to take care of that puppy. She's going to remove the sack. All puppies are born in a sack. The cord is still attached. She'll remove the sack, chew the cord off, and then she will commence with the birthing process further. Now, if you guys watch here, you'll actually see Molly's belly contracting right there. Second pup's coming, second pup's out. Molly's cleaning the second pup. You can see it there. Now we have two puppies in the whelping box that Molly's going to take care of. All right, everybody. Molly's getting ready to have pup number 3. You see her sniffing herself there. You see it pop out, a little shiny. That's from the sack. Now, you'll notice that I whisk in there pretty quick, and I get a little bit involved. The reason I get a little bit involved is Molly was still chewing off the cord from the second pup, and I don't like the pups. You see her eating the sack right there. That's what all mothers do, but I don't like the pups to stay in the sack for very long, as they don't breathe very well when they're in that sack. So I just pinched the sack over the tip of its nose and pulled the sack back a little bit to ensure that the puppy could get its first breath of air. And then I let Molly take over from there. Another thing that I'll mention here, you'll notice how good of a mother Molly is. The pups, they're not real familiar with Mama's exterior, so Molly keeps turning herself there to make sure the pups get to the teats as they keep crawling underneath her butt. So that's not where they need to be. They need to be drinking milk. And we have got puppy number 4 coming out here pretty soon. So I'll try to key in on that as well whenever that happens. So here in just a second, guys, Molly's going to get out of the whelping box. Basically, she just has to go pee. So what I do is I cover that up. It is, again, cold outside. I cover that up with cedar shavings for now to absorb that pee, because I don't want to open up that exterior guillotine door so it'll allow too much cold air in. And I take care of those messes later after the birthing process. All right, everybody, right here is when puppy number 4 comes into this world. So now we have got 4 puppies on the ground. Alright guys, so coming up here is a prime example as to why knowing your dog is the best thing for you. Molly gets out of the whelping box and thinks that, hey, I'm just all kinds of excited and love it. What she needed to do was go number 2. So I let her outside quickly and then brought her back inside quickly. The entire time she was outside, I watched her, and I believe we have pup number 5 coming here. I know the time lapse is kind of hard to see, but actually, yes, you see her eating the sack off there. So right here we have 5 puppies on the ground, but I know Molly, I know how she is. If I hadn't let her outside to go potty real quick, she would have had that puppy on the concrete right there whenever she went number 2. So let's keep watching the process here. I get in and comfort Molly, make sure the puppies are all good and everybody's cleaned off. Just like to kind of make sure Molly understands that we're there to assist her. Alright guys, so I had to zoom in here because I feel like my count was off, and it is. There are actually 7 puppies on the ground at this point in time. We've only got 1 more to go. You'll see when Molly moves them around. There's a charcoal down there on the bottom that I didn't see. Time lapse is a little bit fast to try to keep up with the count, so we are at 7. All right, everybody. Molly's getting ready to have pup number 8. You see it there on the back side. Time lapse is a little fast here, so you don't see her clean this one off as easily as you saw the other ones. But here in a second, I will come in, check on her, make sure all the pups are good, and then I will bring in the chicken broth. Chicken broth is what we utilize to keep hydration. I will explain that a little bit more later in the video. All right, everybody, it is the same morning, just a little bit later, and we've got some puppies on the ground. I'm sure you saw in the time lapse there were several puppies born there. The next morning I like to give the dogs, the mothers, some chicken broth. The reason I like to do that is because Molly worked her butt off last night, this morning, whatever you want to call it. And I want to get her hydrated again. So we are going to give Molly some chicken broth this morning. I also gave her a can of chicken broth last night. I keep saying last night and this morning. It's all been the same morning. We're just a little bit later in the morning. I did go up and take a nap. So now we're back down and getting everybody situated, and we're going to get Molly's kennel cleaned out here since she made a mess of it last night. We're going to see if Molly's ready to eat, which you can see here. I gave her this can last night. It's just a cheap chicken broth, nothing special kind of thing. But we're going to see if Molly's ready to get herself a drink of chicken broth. And then we're also going to see if Molly wants to eat some food. And again, all this moisture and everything in here is from Molly throwing her bucket around and stuff last night. So we're going to take care of that this morning too. Molly, you want some chicken broth, baby? Want some chicken broth, sweetheart? Good girl. And then the next step to this, we will also give Molly some cottage cheese with her food. Not always do our mamas want to eat right after they've given birth. They love the chicken broth normally. When it comes to the dog food kibbles, they don't necessarily want to scarf it down. Molly may be different this time, but the chicken broth is to promote hydration a little quicker, and the cottage cheese is to get good bacteria and stuff back in her stomach. Sometimes after our mamas give birth, they end up with loose stool. I think everyone knows what that means. So we try to help with that sooner rather than later. But you can see she is really cleaning this bowl up. So we're actually going to give her another can. You want another can, Molly? Huh? You want another can? Let's see what you do with your dog food while Daddy's getting you another can, huh? Dog food. What do you think? You want some dog food this morning? Oh yeah, Molly's hungry this morning. Good girl. I tried to feed you last night and you didn't want anything, and you didn't really want chicken broth either, but I think the main reason is she was having all these gorgeous little puppies you all see down there. This is day 0, if you will, for the puppies. They were born between midnight and 3 a.m. Everybody's happy it looks like. One of the things that I've been taught, I've been told, and I've also witnessed over the years is when the puppies are spread out and not making noise, they are happy. The temperature is good. When they're spread out more than what you see here, that means they're hot. You can see we've got a few there in the center that are still, you know, basically every puppy except for this one is touching another puppy, and it's close. So I feel like we've got the puppies at the right temperature. I do have, it's a little breezy this morning, and I do feel while I'm sitting here a little breeze coming off of my left side. So we're going to get us a piece of paneling and put it right here to keep that breeze from getting in here on these puppies, just to make sure. I think they're going to be fine, but I like to take the extra precaution. But as you can see, Molly ate that pretty quickly. We're going to get Molly some new water since she's put cedar chips in it this morning around, I don't know, I guess that was just before midnight. She was burying everything, and she was just, you know, getting ready to have birth. That's what was going on. Getting ready to give birth, not have birth. That was the wrong words, wasn't it, Molly? Huh? It's a good girl. All right, we're going to get her another can of chicken broth here, like I stated. And then we're going to do some cleanup work. Get things back in order. Stay tuned for more. All right, everybody. So we have got Molly's cottage cheese dog food blend that we like to give her after any male, not just her, any female, not just her, after they have puppies. But basically what we do is take cottage cheese and we put dog food in there, and then we stir it around, blend it up real good. And like I said, the reasons that we do this is it promotes good bacteria in her stomach, and some of our females end up with loose stool after they have their puppies, and this helps tighten that stool back up. And I also want to give you an example. You saw just a little bit ago, this was the size of food that I fed Molly, and I've got that on top of the bag that it is from, which is the Performance Blend, 26% protein, 18%. And then this, you can tell, is the smaller kibble here, and this is the 3221 Super Performance, and you can see its kibble there. I know I'm kind of blocking the light a little bit, but that kibble is much smaller. So what we like to do after our females have their pups is not only give them chicken broth for hydration, Laylan's helping me today, but we also like to give them the cottage cheese, and we start feeding them not quite double what we normally feed them, but I will blend this smaller kibble in with the bigger kibble to add some protein percentage and keep some weight on the females. As you can see, the puppies, they're going to take a lot of weight off of mama, because these first few weeks they are majorly consuming a lot of nutrition from their mama. So we try to ensure that mama is capable of providing and doesn't lose much weight herself. Obviously we can't reduce it to zero weight loss, but we do reduce it to the greatest minimum weight loss as we can. You can see she had a piece about to fall out of her mouth and she was trying to catch it. And she's got puppies suckling on her, so as you can see, the puppies are very active. You can see they're doing well. They're making their normal puppy noises. They are on the teat a lot, and there's another one behind her there. So what we ended up with was 8 puppies. As always, like, comment, and subscribe.